How important are names to you?
Names are very important. I think names give us some insight into our destiny.
Yeah.
You know, traditional African culture, we're all born with a destiny. And that name helps to give us some insight into that destiny. So when I look at Ifatunde, that means destiny has returned. And Oguntade, Ogun wears the crown. And so Ogun is the spirit of iron, the spirit of energy, truth, and justice. And that's the archetype that I was born under.
Would you argue that Johnson is a slave name?
Absolutely.
I ask this particularly because a lot of Black Americans still to this day carry their previous slave owners.
Don't say Black American, say American African.
American African.
Yes, sir.
You do know that a lot of African Americans don't like that term.
Well, they use African American. We're comfortable with African American.
Yeah.
But I prefer American African.
Okay.
Because we are not Americans, never have never been treated as such.
Yeah.
And the adjective precedes the noun. So when you say African American, you're describing a type of an American.
Okay.
We're not Americans. When you say American African, you're describing a type of an African. So that's why we say American African. American simply describes the African.
Yeah.
Versus African describing the American. We are Africans in an American context.
I hear you.
But when you say Black American, just to give you some clarity,
yeah,
it wasn't until recently that the United States government has reverted to referring to us as Black American. Since the 1980s, they referred to us as African American, which I don't agree with because I prefer American African. But they've started using Black American again instead of African American, which is a deliberate attempt to cut us off from our African consciousness.
Yeah.
And it is also a strategy to try to distract away from the current argument by your American African brothers and sisters for reparations and restitutions due to slavery.
Would you argue that Johnson was a slave name?
Absolutely.
And that other American Africans should drop theirs?
Ultimately, yes. The reason I pause when I ask that question is sometimes I think as African people, whether we're in America, Africa, the Caribbean, or throughout the diaspora, sometimes we focus too much on superficialities as opposed to substantive change. Yeah. So in other words, every African in the diaspora could drop our European names, take an African name, and we should. But is that the priority? No, freedom, justice, and liberation is the priority.
Yeah.
The Honorable Marcus Garvey never changed his name, but his contribution to African liberation is almost unparalleled.
100%.
John Henry Clark, Amos Wilson, a lot of our grandmaster teachers never changed their name, but they changed the condition of the people.
Yeah.
So I'm a big supporter of changing your name.
Yeah.
But I'm even a bigger supporter of changing the conditions. Do the work first, and the name will follow.